Alright, gonna get this going in a second. Tell you what. Give me just a secundo. Alright, gonna get started here in just a second.
are you here instead of in the other place?
Yeah. I was trying a thing, but I'll go to the other place. No, hold on. I'll go to the other place.
Where I was waiting for like 45 minutes.
No. Hey,
So,
not much. Just doing some stuff.
word,
So
me too.
I hooked up the ground stabs to the existing stab hooks, which surprisingly there is a stab hookup that does nothing, and entries 0 and 1 in the direction array are both stab entries, and those are the ones that set it. But for some reason, the Ninja one always throws that green debug text that said like failed max extent check. I thought that was weird because it definitely hits. It's like but it,
So, wait, hang on. Moving too fast. Where did you put the animation?
what do you mean?
You said it hits.
Like it visibly hits, and it throws that debug warning every time it should deal damage, but it's almost like the server's rejecting it.
Okay, sorry, I'm miss speaking here. You said that 0 and 1 were where the stab animations are.
Oh, right. In the weapon blueprint, the directional attack array, I put them in the light stance stab slots just so you could do them until we worked out where the ground stab would actually get hooked up for
All
ground
right.
stab purpose.
So hang on again. You said the ground. Wait, say it one more time. You put them in the stab slots, plural.
Yeah, there's I don't know how to explain it. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say duplicates, but multiple entries for different directions, and sometimes the directions are shared. I'm not actually sure what registers as 0 and 1, but there were all three melee weapons had a stab animation hooked up in both of those. I don't know if it's like forward or back or what the conditions are for it, but um, somehow it ties back to middle mouse.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So why don't you put it in one of them instead of both of them, and that would answer the question.
I could do that.
And that way, one of them will be stabbed. It will take care of itself, in fact. If you put one of them in back and one of them in front, then there is no extra work to be done except for telling everyone when you press back and stab, you stab the ground. Make sense? Because
Uh,
first pass for playtest, all we have to do is have it in there. And if everybody knows it's the ground stab, then we'll see how well ground stab works in a group setting. Then we can do the inputs later.
Let me see how that works because the slight forward holding forward kind of helps ensure that you hit, and back might take you out of range while you try to do it. But you're not wrong. That's a decent idea for a first pass. Let's find out.
Decent. It's bloody brilliant. That was my English accent. It was fantastic, I know.
It was. It was the best one I've ever heard so far.
So great.
Well, that certainly didn't replace it.
You changed one, and it didn't do anything?
Nope. Watch the stab slot now work when I change this back. I did hook up a little thing while I was in the Kusarigama that it brings up a little grapple icon when you're in range of grapple spots. It was partially hooked up before, but I made it smaller.
Where's the grapple icon?
On environment grapple objects.
Okay.
It's in the same function that changes the highlight. So if the highlight's visible, so is the little icon, just to further reinforce. You can grab that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it appears that only the 0 entry for stab controls middle mouse always. 1 doesn't seem to do anything, though we could make 1 do the thing.
No. Yeah, just put it in 1.
Put the ground stab in 1?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. Why don't we just do this real quick? What's in number 2?
Left diagonal.
And 3?
Left to right.
Okay. 8?
Right diagonal. 9 has a stab in it. That might be going backwards and stabbing.
So we should probably put that one to down stab.
Let's try it. I also have ground stab placed in stab montage slot, which currently does nothing. Well,
let's just put it in one place.
Which is weird because technically stab's not directional, and it should be the stab montage to ensure that it does stab damage, because stab damage is not necessarily higher damage than that stance's attack, but it can be. Like, it is its own damage entry. No, stab is actually significantly less damage than... oh, never mind, it's 5 more than the directional.
You said 5 more or 5 less?
5 more. A regular light Kenshi attacks 20, a stab is 25. Which, if you, once we get if you grab the latest, you can, all stabs are ground stab, and if you do Fuji Hammer and just start spamming middle click, it feels nice. It's a nice mechanic. I wish we added it sooner, but it's sad. It feels nice. It'll feel better once we're next pass too. I need to figure out how to get some effects on there.
Okay. Very exciting. However, did you put it in number 9?
I'm getting there.
Doing a lot of talking, Matt.
You
need 1 to get there. Also, 1 is backwards. 0 stationary, 1 is backwards. You said 2 is back left?
It's not. The diagonals are shared. It uses reuses diagonal forward for the 2 backward diagonals, so I can't really tell from the array.
3 should be left.
Yep.
5 should be forward.
Yep.
7 is right.
Yep.
And 9 is back as well.
Yeah, ground stab. I've tried ground stab in 9 and 1, and it doesn't do anything. Whatever I plug into 0 is stabbed for all directions.
Okay. All right. Put it in 9 and 1 then.
Put it in 9 and 1?
Yep. There's a stab in 5, right?
No, up, down.
Okay, excellent. All right. Just leave them there.
Okay, you want me to submit that?
Yup.
Okay, let me do it to the other ones. The Nagi and Kusarigama. Did what I said about the Kusarigama make sense?
Oh yeah. If he made it like he said he did, which is the like rapid scraping stab, it might just happen too fast for it. There might be a timing issue.
It is a. He did not do the dragging thing. It's more of a. He kind of like takes a. Like crouches down and just stabs like hard into the ground, but it is pretty quick. Could I test that by just making the animation play at like half the rate and just see?
Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
what's weird is it physically looks like it should hit, and I do get debug output every single time.
Is it faster than the normal attack?
I think it's slower,
Okay.
but that's a subjective assessment. So you said 1 and 9 you want ground stab in.
Yes.
What about stab montage, which is currently, I don't think it does anything.
Then don't put anything in there.
Yeah, it just says failed max extend check montage, ninja attack ground stab.
Oh, you said montage? Is it an animation error?
I'm not sure what kind of error it is. It registers the weapon animation, but I slowed it to half speed to make it play slower, and it still registers. It's definitely way slower than the other ones. Now,
It might be just Kusarigama related, period. Yeah, you might take it. It's only for light stance, right?
it's just for the ground stab animation. All the other ones work.
No, I mean, but you're putting it in the light stance attack stance, right? You're not putting it in the other attack stance?
Right.
Hmm. So is the weapon animation not actually weapon based?
What do you mean?
Oh, the animations are just named with a character's name because they use different skeletons. Realistically, Kenshi left right attack shouldn't say Kenshi left right attack, it should say sword left right attack. And it should be usable on any character, right?
No.
What?
The character the character ones only work on that character. Like Nagi stab won't work on Kenshi.
Right, because they're not using the same skeleton, right?
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. They should be using the same skeleton, and it should be a weapon-based animation, not a character-based, right?
Oh, in our ideal pipeline, yes.
Delicious Greek yogurt and strawberries.
That sounds like a nice snack.
Yeah, bruh.
Okay, should be submitted now.
Oh, there's a character animation and a weapon animation.
Yeah, since the ninja plays the dude and the Kusarigama separately at the same time.
Ideally. I don't know if I'm gonna get this working tonight because I am trying to go to bed pretty soon here. Because I still have to get up at ass o'clock in the morning. But I will have a chance to work on it during the day. I also need to fix the flag runner bug. I think is actually bigger than this.
Yeah, I would say that and the weird bot team thing are probably both. Like if at worst, if you don't get around to it, I may just have it replace stab, and just let people know like, hey, this isn't intended to be how it works, but just pretend that to use it after like sweeping or knocking down someone, and just let us know how it feels.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused as to why 1 and 1 and 9 don't do it, but
Yeah, it's kind of. I would assume that that would be tied to a direction. So if I'm moving back and I middle mouse, it would do the 9 slot. If I'm
no,
moving,
wait, you keep trying to do middle mouse? No, middle mouse does stab. You have to move back and click.
hold on. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, it does do the ground stab moving back now. So if you tap it and click, you'll get it instead of. Yeah, that works because like the uppercut for the heavy is so important to the Kenshi. You wouldn't want to take that out. So if you tap it, you basically do it in place. So yeah, we could do a like knockdown and then tap back and down. Yeah, you're right. I'm dumb.
Man, this math is just not working. I'm looking at the numbers.
Yeah, I was expecting since stab was plugged up into 3 slots, I was expecting one of those to be like middle mouse moving backwards and the other one being like forward middle mouse. Is what I thought. Since it was, and then the zero. I thought zero was like generic, or zero was
So
forward, and
zero is
then
stationary. So if
okay,
you're not moving at all, so
okay.
you can put it in one. I mean, you can put it in 0 and not put it in 1 and 9, and that will also solve your problem. Down stab is just don't move.
Ooh, I think that might just work. You can just knock down and then just click and do it. Do you think that's better than making people tap back?
Um, you could put it in 0 and 9.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Let me try it. Okay, now I understand what it's doing. So what does stab montage do then?
Stab montage is probably tied to middle mouse click, maybe. I don't know. Let me see. I don't even
Oh,
know.
that. I think you're right. Well, no, because stab montage has ground stab plugged into it now, and it never actually ground stabs.
Let's see. Sprint stab.
So you said so.
Sprint stab. So stab montage is not used at all. Sprint stab is used.
Okay. So 9 is what? Moving backwards and clicking?
I think 5 is actually moving backwards and clicking. So 5 is just to be clear, 5 is actually just backwards. Clicking is the attack. So yes. Hang on. Let me check the inputs. So there is a back and backward. I'm not sure why those are separate. Stationary, backward, back left, left, forward left, forward, forward right, right, back, back. Yeah, there really shouldn't be anything in 9.
It appears to me that
Hang on. Well,
9
anyway, just put it in 1, 0 and 1.
or 0 and 9.
Wait, hang on. One of those is middle. So middle click, I don't know if it does stab or it does passes stationary as the action. Just okay, 9 does nothing. Stab montage does nothing.
It appears that middle mouse is tied to. Hold on, I just had it. 9 appears to be middle mouse.
Okay. Interesting.
Let me test that again. Because right now I have it in 0. Hold on.
I don't. 9's not a direction that can come up. So middle mouse is character technique, and let's see if there is.
So I put stab light back into 9 and it didn't change anything. Now I'm getting it for forward, backward, and stationary, and it's just in 0. And it was in stab montage also.
Okay, so hang on. 0 through 8 should be the only ones that do anything.
Okay. It
Yeah.
looks like whatever's in 0 is used for middle mouse no matter what. And
Okay.
and
Then you
then it appears that 9 is backwards.
well, 1 is also backwards.
Oh yeah, it might just be 1's backwards. So I do get, when I click moving back, I get a regular stab.
Okay.
Stationary click is ground stab. Middle mouse is also always ground stab.
Okay, so you've put ground stab in 0.
Yep.
And have you put it anywhere else?
No.
Okay, so if it's just in 0, then both middle mouse will do the stab, and standing still will do the stab. Backwards will do your backward. We'll put whatever you've had in there. So middle mouse is 0 and stationary is 0. Backwards is 1, and 9 is not used.
Okay. So yeah, I have ground stab is only in 0, and I get it stationary, and I also get it from all directions middle mousing.
Right, because middle mouse is using 0.
As is stationary click, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Middle mouse is not a directional attack. It uses attack 0 if
Okay.
you don't have a technique.
Okay. That should be okay for this. That'll be okay. I don't love it, but it'll be okay. Just your middle mouse is always going to be ground stab.
I mean, you could change it to 0, and then you don't have that problem.
I do. I did. Right now, it's only in 0.
I mean, you could change it to 1, and then it can be back instead. Back and click.
Oh
But
yeah.
somebody who's backing away and attacking is now stuck with a ground stab. So
Yeah, I think this is probably the best first pass to go. Something else I was thinking about that may be a way easier implementation. Um, I'm trying to think if we already have an
wait,
example.
hang on. If you just started the game, before you even start moving, you're going to start clicking around. And ground stab should not be your default attack when you're not touching anything else. Regular stab should be.
Okay, so I should just put it in 1.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because we can tell people just tap back and click if you want to test ground stab.
Well, I mean, if you hold back, it also.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah, you would.
So just press back, right? Just
Yeah.
back and click.
Well, if you're trying to chain it with Fuji Hammer, you wouldn't want to move out of range. But yes, people will figure it out or they won't. So it should be in 1 only.
Yes. But go ahead and put it in 9. Because just put it in 9 as well.
But I was going to say, if we want middle mouse to also do ground stab, we could put a named section in the existing stab montage, and it just picks which one based on like where you're aiming or if there's a knockdown character. Not now, but like the actual real implementation.
Yeah, but now you got to combine stab it. No, that's more stuff that just put it in 1 and 9, and I'll just make 9 the ground stab, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I think I already did that in the submits that I made. I was just experimenting on the Kenshi. So yeah, now I get ground stab moving back only. Your stationary is your stab, your regular stab, and this shouldn't confuse anyone. And Adam did a nice job with these animations. The Kenshi one, he needs to flip his sword around, but besides that, it's very nice.
Excellent.
Highly recommend knocking down another client and doing it because it's fun. All right, so let's do some, there's some audio hooks I want to put in. Ah, that was loud, sorry. That was one of the sounds. So we go to my audio folder. UI. I'll make one in here that's just called rituals. And I have 3 cues for this. Create 3 cues. And let me bulk edit these to get the sound class right. Sound class, make sure that the right sound slider in your settings menu does the right thing. This is, technically it's sound effects. Attenuation, this is a UI sound, so it's fine. Okay. So I'm going to make a sound cue object reference. Actually, let's do this as a... Let's do soft reference. Let's do it a little bit cleaner.
Hey, what happens if you crouch?
If you have the existing binding from when it used to be in the game, it does like a camera nudge. But otherwise, it does nothing.
So it doesn't mess up your animations?
It does not.
Sweet.
I guess this is going to be technically loaded in all of them. I changed my mind again. Also, by the way, everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm Matt. I'm the lead developer on Hanako, Honor, and Blade. We're a Steam Early Access game,
Okay.
and...
you know what?
Hold on.
Let's just bind it to that too.
Okay, so this doesn't have... Okay. So, ritual discovered. curse and blessing. Is there already a... mysterious ailment? Okay. Play activated sound. I don't see one of those. Like I didn't do, there is an alert sound in this, so what the heck? Am I already doing this in one of the other ones? Hold down a second.
I keep forgetting to record those sounds for Lawrence.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I just need to take my laptop and mic in my car on lunch one day and just scream as I'm like driving to wherever. Okay, so it does play it here. So in that case, I don't need an activation sound, but I do need a... Can I just clear and clear? And then in this guy, I'm just going to do so if I leave it empty, it doesn't do anything. Oops, wrong one. Right now I cannot. On stream, you don't hear anything? My mic's definitely working on Streamlab. Or so it says. I see the little waveform going.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh. All of us, you were in the middle of talking, and then well, you weren't in the middle of talking. You said something, I said something, you said nothing back. And I was like, all right. Okay, then. Then I went to the bathroom, I came back, and then I logged on to Twitch.
Yeah, you're like, screw you, dude.
It's like, what a D-bag. Also, so in the general chat, it said live next to your name, but in here it does not.
Yeah, there's a screen, there's like a stream and a video channel button that I can click. Like I was just seeing if anyone from Discord would pop into that. I can do it here. I just have to click a thing. So actually I could stream my screen in this if I'm not streaming live if we were working on the same thing and you needed to see what I was doing. And only you can see that.
That's right. Screen share, I guess. Okay. Actually, it'd be interesting to know what the latency is on that. But you can't, like, it's just an extra place that you're streaming at the same time, or what's the...
Yeah, it's just an extra place.
Okay, so it's not any more or less delayed than the other?
The Discord one could be.
Oh, that reminds me. Leave You asked me, he says, yo, I got a friend that's organizing a charity video game tournament and needs help setting Twitch up. I guess the complexity is if you're trying to stream a video, multiple screens at once, but I guess if you're just streaming the console that you're playing off of, like, it's not, does that sound like an extra difficult thing to do?
I'm not sure how to set up multiple monitors, but I mean, there's so many stream setup guides for everything online. There's really no reason to not find a tutorial for it.
Yeah, I didn't mean about the multiple screens, but I just meant if you're streaming like a PlayStation game, like you're playing PlayStation or I don't know, Wii or something like that, and trying to stream and have a camera on yourself, like that doesn't seem like an extra difficult setup, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've never done that myself, but there has to be like multi-monitor guides, and like to simulcast I use restream.io, and it lets you connect all the like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and then it gives you a RMTP key that you edit in like your streaming software, and it sends all the data there, and then that is like a hub that distributes it to all the other channels.
Mm-hmm. I have some friends on Instagram who are like, man, 2020's been a rough year. We're trying to relax from their Instagram photos in Barbados. It's like
That's kind of a d-bag move.
it's like, yeah, can you skip the part where you complain about how tough the year has been when you just flex your Barbados and call it good?
Yeah. Yeah, just say we're in Barbados and we really hope that things are going well for everyone else everywhere else.
Yep. Not sure how to snooze all my notifications without turning off this. Well, I could do it one by one. Oh, wait. We'll just mute. I have my laptop open to install Big Sur, which is the new version of macOS. It's telling me all the bleep bloops.
Gotta get the bleep bloops.
Only 6 more hours of downloads remaining.
Yay.
I have a screaming fast internet once I go to Colorado, though.
Ooh, that's even better, yay. Like legit yay. How good?
I'm kidding. I don't know if it's going to be screaming fast. I just know that it will probably be faster than this, just by default.
That sounds excellent. Alright, that sound is hooked up.
That's odd. You had a bunch of bots there, didn't you?
Where?
Well, I'm looking at the stream now. Were there a bunch of bots fighting up there by the on the raised level to the right? Or was that just an animation?
I just have some animation loops in there where I was testing out blessing and curse effects. I have like foot effect system and then like a weapon socket just so I can swap them quickly to see what they look like on all the classes.
I like how we have the same. I think our map diverged around time to start building gates.
Oh yeah, I have one called map test map that has like my own stuff in it. But it's pretty much the same as example. It's a resave of example map where I change whatever I need at the time.
Yeah. I have a destructible. Remember the boulder from like first pass at destructibles?
Yep.
That's sitting in the corner. I haven't deleted it yet because I'm like, but what if I need it?
It's like it takes 2 seconds to drag drop it back, but dude, I have some of that same stuff in here. I have a capture point in the corner because I'm like, well, I might need a capture point.
I deleted. I had a destructible column tucked in that corner next to those steps, between the steps and the grapple point, because it was in the center of the map, and I was like, oh, I'll just move it off to the side so it won't be in the way anymore. But it's still like the bots are still like, oh, this is a thing. So then I just turned it off. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with this in here anyway? So I think I will delete the avalanche. But I've been pretty much just testing bots for the capture points and stuff. So wait, I have a visual view of this channel in Discord now, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So once you streamed, I clicked to watch your stream, but then when you turned it off, now I have like just two of us, me and you, in the background of this channel. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. It's just not chat. I don't know how to get this, because I like not looking at the chat. I don't know how to automatically switch to this view.
Like the general chat?
All right, I guess that's my view now. That's strange. I don't recall it ever doing that before.
What?
So normally the center of my Discord window is chat. But just now, when I click on the dev audio channel, the center of my Discord is a picture of our profiles.
Oh yeah, I see that now. That's cool.
But before you streamed, I'd never seen that before.
I've never seen this before in a voice channel either.
Cool.
The Discord is pretty good.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who have Discord, and some people are like, yeah, just hit me up on the Discord. And I'm like, I don't want to put Discord on my phone. One of my friends, he barely texts me. He's like, just hit me up on Discord. I'm like, no, that's not that's not a text alternative, my friend.
That's how I am with Facebook Messenger because I prefer keyboard typing and I'm almost always in front of one, you know? So because I hate texting on my phone or being forced to answer someone because I suck at phone typing.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I have friends installed, so I have Facebook, Slack, WhatsApp.
Same.
It used to handle Hangouts, but now it doesn't.
It's yeah, the
And I
Hangouts
much prefer,
implementation always sucked anyway.
yeah, and I much prefer communicating through Messenger, or like if it's during the daytime, during the work time, I'd rather just communicate through Facebook or Slack or WhatsApp, just because, like you said, like this way I can stay at my computer. I can be paying attention to my computer as far as anyone else in the area is concerned, and be chatting on the side.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
It's to ensure that maximum reachability is achieved through your professional endeavors and nothing else.
Totes. Totally.
Ooh, the Agini cake is 17,000 triangles. That ain't cheap. That's like the highest poly thing in our game.
Well, you can
Oh,
feel free to cut it in half.
I can do that. It's just a box that I type in a new try count percentage and click OK. Thanks, Unreal, for making it really easy.
Is it just one triangle for, or, you know, however many triangles they use for a circle for the center?
I don't know. Let me go to the wireframe. It looks like there's geo where the text goes. Not sure why. Oh, because I just churned this mesh from a ZBrush because I sculpted it real quick in there.
Let's send you a picture. A little Facebook cheese. So wait, did you not talk to Tobias at all?
We talked earlier because I was going over the website and we were looking at the Cyberpunk, and I mentioned that I had not concerns but just artistic feedback that the a lot of it I think was temp images, and I talked to Connor, ran it by the dude that may help us with some marketing hero imagery because that's what he does. He's extremely good at it, and he kind of said, "Hey, your old site looks better." And we went through the Cyberpunk site and want to try to do some of those large image panels with some of those like sub overlapping text boxes, and it's basically like a huge image and then like three little ones overlapping if you scroll down on like the Cyberpunk site.
Mm-hmm.
um, as one example of that kind of layout, and that would allow us to kind of do like a panel for each class, and maybe the little squares are for like gifts of abilities or something. The one hang up Tobias had was he wasn't sure if we could, if we were going to be forced to front load every panel, or if we could have the panels loaded on demand when you scroll to them, so the initial load isn't super slow or long.
Yeah, at the very least, on mobile, we'll need to do it that way. But
That cheese, and they probably have like a 3090, like three of them in there.
I'm just looking at this fucking tower, man.
I'm not
Like
gonna
where?
lie, I impulse bought a 3090 over the weekend, but it wasn't complete impulse buy. So I'm in this Discord that like 20,000 people are in it to try to get. It basically posts auto alerts whenever any 3000 series goes on sale on any website, because bots usually buy it within 5 seconds or less. And so Newegg will release like one bundle maybe like twice a day. And I'm like, I was 3 weeks in trying to get a 3080, which is much better value. I'd gone to Micro Center here a few times, and I went at open, and there were like 20 people in line at the door for 3080s. I only know that because the guy came out and said, "We have no 3080s today," and everyone walked away sad. And then he's like, "Well, we do have 3090s," and everyone's like, "Meh." And I kind of wish I got one then, but later I had added one to my cart earlier that I failed on, and I went to get a 3080 bundle that the AI said was in stock, and I noticed the 3090 was in my cart. And I was like, "Ooh, that's the Asus ROG Strix. I want that one really bad." A game dev in that Discord had said, "Dude, if you use UE4, just go for it. Here's a 3080 versus 3090 comparison site." And with all the trailer work that we have to do, it'll be quite nice for video editing. And
Gotcha.
because it's the a lot of the 1000 and 2000 series cards were all like 8 gigs of video memory for the most part, and the 3080 went up to 10, which isn't a ton more, but it's way like 300% better. The 3090 goes up to 24 gigs, so you make a huge jump. And they said they're going to release an in between that's like 16. But if that's at like 1,000 or 1,200 price point, then it might just be better to just get the 3090, which they made like twice as good as a Titan for like half the price. That was a mouthful of information that you didn't want.
I mean, if it's important to you,
Well, it just allows us to render and record raw footage at 4K 60 if we wanted to, which there was no way in hell my 1070 could ever do that. So for our trailers, we can record super crazy high quality and then just render out whatever quality we want. But at least the raw footage could be at kind of a maximum quality type of way.
hmm
I also found out mechanical hard drives are really slow.
yes.
Like not like I did a one of those crystal disk benchmarks. My SSD that Windows on was about 2,000 megs a second read and like 900 megs a second write. The mechanical that almost all of my stuff's on was only like 80 read and like 50 write. And I was like, oh, guess it's time to get a large SSD and clone all of this off of mechanical and only use mechanical as a maybe weekly backup.
Yep.
Those M2 drives really aren't too expensive anymore.
M2. I'm unfamiliar with these.
So hold on. I'm going to open one up. I think I have a tab on my middle screen already on stream. We'll do it live. Yep, there it is. It looks like this. It's about the size of a USB flash drive. And it's 2 terabytes. It maxes out at 3 gigs per second read and write, roughly. And there's these little slots on your motherboard where you put it in at a 45-degree angle and then push it down and bolt in where the little half screw is, and it just lays on your motherboard, and they're insanely fast. They're like twice the speed of a normal SATA SSD.
Is there like a USB dock for that? You know how you can put a hard drive into just a hard drive case to make a portable hard drive?
Yeah, and it like routes to a like eSATA or a USB.
Yeah, like it can be a SATA, but so I don't know if this is a thing, but like a SATA drive that has USB out because of the case.
Not for M.2s, I don't think so. Wait, I lied. They do. I do see there is a little converter that you can slide them into that makes a USB 3. It looks like this. It's way more complicated than I would have thought. It's got a little screwdriver and everything.
Yeah, okay. Slip it all the way in, clack it shut, screw, and $15, problem solved.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that when I built this computer 3 years ago, those M.2s just came out, and I was looking at my motherboard, and I was like, what are these little, like, 1.5-inch little strips that say M.2 on them? And I Googled, I'm like, oh, this is what SSDs are now.
Sorry, I was laughing at something else.
Want to share with the class?
Well, I stabbed a kinch. I stabbed somebody, which definitely should do more than 25 damage.
Did you do the ground stab?
Well, obviously. What other stab would I hit?
Isn't it satisfying?
It's all right or whatever.
Try jumping off of something and doing it too. You like impale through their skull. It's awesome. But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I'm on the fence about it because a normal stab does 25, or it does some amount of damage. It's commensurate with that stance. And you did use an ability that's about 50 damage, and then you have an easy hit. I could see it. It feels like it should be like a death blow.
It definitely should do like 75 damage. Well, I'm going to be completely honest. You should be able to one-shot somebody with a knockdown and stab, but only if they have more defense against knockdown. So I think 75 would be decent, but I don't know if that'll kill an archer. But 23 is definitely not enough. At the very least, 60.
Yeah, we should probably put like a multiplier, like ground stab is a multiplier of whatever stab damage is.
I can do that.
So we could I could see a case for it just being a flat like 2x for now, but I'm on the fence about it because I'm like, okay, knockdown's pretty strong in itself. You get a guaranteed, with the Kenshi you can do 2 of them before they get up. That makes Fujihammer essentially a guaranteed kill.
Well, the other... maybe not.
But it's definitely something else I need to figure out is when they're on the ground and you do kill them, because it goes to ragdoll, it throws you in the air when you get a kill with it, and I need to sort that out.
It does 45 damage if you're buffed for the Nagi. It's also great to stab someone in the foot. Oh, I should see if you can block it.
What
But
is
this
it?
is gonna be
What does it do with the if you get the damage skill on the Kenshi? I should be able to do that quick
uh
math in my head, but it's probably
I have to check and see what the skill is. And plus, whatever the math in your head says it is, it might be armor. So it's 15% extra damage and armor piercing.
no,
So
that's not that much. Just what, 2.5,
yeah,
another
so it's
one.
27.
Yeah, okay, so it's not significantly more.
Which, oops, damn it! I
Considering you can do two of them though, like that is a decent amount more. That'd be just yes, 65.
If you put telegraphing at the beginning of it, then it would require you. So if you make the entire animation longer, like if there's a flourish at the beginning of it, then you have to time it perfectly in order to not have somebody get up in time. So if it lasts, let's say knockdown is half a second, then wait, knockdown's like 3 seconds or something. If it was maybe like the length of the animation was half a second or a second shorter than the time that you are knocked down. So basically, when you knock somebody down, you have to stab them in, otherwise they'll get up and have the option to block or parry.
Yeah,
If the
because if we give them a higher damage value, I definitely agree you shouldn't be able to do more than one. But because Adam did do a frame hold at the like at the peak of you like lifting up, we could just extend that. The Naginata one is timed well. I don't think that one needs to change in speed at all. But the Kenshi one and the Ninja one is pretty. You can definitely do two. The Ninja you might even be able to do three. If we had unlimited resources, it would be cool if you had a like a tech hit. The second you hit the ground, if you double tap, you like roll out of knockdown and get up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If we had,
And to be completely honest, I was thinking about that. Hang on, what am I saying? Yeah, I have been thinking about that the whole time. Like every time I get knocked down, I spam right click on the some magical hope that it will like counter roll me out of. You know what? If you were able to roll while knocked down, after a certain delay, that would also.
oh yeah, if you own the dodge ability, like at halfway or like if you were to execute it with that like tech hit timing, like we put some marker in the animation or something,
Mm-hmm.
then it just would just let you roll out. That would be cool, and that would make buying the dodge abilities a more valuable proposition, which I don't see people buy those too often.
Yeah, so I think what might be simpler is if you allow the dodge ability to cut your knockdown short. So like the dodge ability is enabled like 75% of the way through your knockdown. But it would have to be a roll instead of a like the dodge because then you
Oh
just
yeah,
like
you're right. Shit, not everyone has a roll.
though it would kind of hilarious. The Kenshi just laying there and all of a sudden he's like 2 feet to the side.
Yep.
You know
See
what?
this is where rig sharing would have saved our butt because we would be like, oh well, everyone can just use the ninja roll animation. Now we're done.
Yep. Um, and you know it's that sentence enough is enough to not go into go down the rabbit hole of figuring that out, because these stab animations are pretty straightforward, but it would have been nice if they were made on the common rig from here on out. So we gotta get
Yeah,
that.
that's how I feel about the knockdown reactions too. Because I did want him to do a knockdown hit reaction from the knockdown idle pose. So when you do get hit by ground stab, and this doesn't have tech either, we could make it a section in the knockdown animation or its own montage. But because they don't have to, montage sections don't have to play in sequence. You can set them up in a way that like a section is reserved and never plays unless code says go to this montage section, and then it just auto plays from it.
Yeah.
So we could, and that's just to reinforce, and that makes it easier to do effects because I can just put effects in that reaction and not have to figure out like what did you hit? Was it a player? Where was the hit location? I can just put it on the blood socket like all the others, and have the blood spray like kind of shoot up in the air from their chest, and have them like jolt where their like feet and like body like flails, but their like pelvis kind of stays more or less on the ground, and
Called
that
a hollow body hold when you do it on purpose.
yeah,
Or the
that'll
canoe.
because it's pretty satisfying with them just sitting there. When they jerk around from it, it'll be additionally enjoyable to do. There's a "that's what she said" joke in there somewhere.
I'm gonna pretend that I knew where it was and go ha ha ha.
Yeah. Archer Palisade, Ajani's favorite named asset.
Wait, what is it actually named?
Archer Palisade.
Oh, actually named Archer Palisade.
I learned. It occurred to me tonight that whenever I'm doing world building, I constantly go through and select all the prop folders separately, and I do it all the time. And I never made use of local collections where you can just save a selection to a collection and just have it. So I never have to do that again. It only took 7 years of UE4.
Yeah, man, it's as bad as the goddamn crop tool.
The snipping tool.
See, already got it wrong. So looking at these weapons, for some reason the katana does. Why is there no class default damage values for the?
Are you looking at BP Katana new?
Yeah, I'm looking at BP katana.
BP Katana is old. That really should get removed from the game. Nothing actually. Well, sorry. BP Katana is the parent class of BP Katana new. BP Katana isn't actually used on anything, but it used to be used on bots with the old. And the reason it's different is BP Katana was used for the original Kenshi rig when it was called the Kengao, and for a while bots still used it.
But now
It's just a pointless parent class of BP Katana new, but there may be some default values from BP Katana it uses, so something may break and then need fixed if it was reparented to Hanako weapon. But BP Katana new is what you should be looking at.
okay, whatevs.
It's one of those Matt-isms that annoys you, but I made that choice years ago when I wasn't as smart.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I mean, obviously we have to clean this up at some point, but it'll be whenever it gets too big, I guess. I mean, probably before release, just to size.
Yeah.
Why it? The fuck is the size? Oh, blueprint, at least 1 gigabyte.
What?
I'm going to attempt something.
Ooh.
Interesting. I do not believe you can share an entire monitor in oh yeah, you can. There it is. Under the screens button, turns out. All right. Tell me if you see the screen in Discord.
I do.
I don't know what this is.
That
You see my-
is the full reference chain of the katana.
Okay. So this doesn't mean the blueprint itself is 1 GB, because I could just check that by checking the size of the blueprint.
No,
Dirt.
it's just the sum of what it references and the sum of everything that everything it references. It's a rough approximation of the memory cost of it, not the hard drive size of it.
Yeah, because this entire blueprints folder is like 180 gigs.
Yeah, this view is the view that lets you know that you use too many hard references in general. But if your game doesn't have memory problems and it's mostly PC only, generally don't have to worry about it. But you can see how the rabbit hole of hard refs is crazy.
And it's probably something that can be like to find and replace and shrink this down to like a quarter of the size.
Yeah, it's the tough part is soft refs have their own challenges because they have no loading logic on their own, and resolving them only counts if they're already loaded. So essentially, um, resolving them to hard refs only works if you already plugged in something from the eyedropper. Basically, if it's not a world placed actor, you have to run an async load node, or there's like textures are the only thing that have an existing like set brush from soft texture. So you would have to do a loader function in begin play to load all of the soft refs into like locally stored hard refs.
So
Which is probably super easy in code, but not as easy in Blueprint. Because
right.
the async loader returns an object and you have to cast to the class and store it, which is super annoying.
What is enable PIE interface? Is PIE always on top? I re-enabled. Oh no, I didn't. I made crouch attack, down stab, but it didn't work that time. But I think I might have forgotten to build it. And I don't think building it again will update the default INI. So, uh-oh. What are you doing? Stop. Can you edit the settings in here directly? Do you know?
The INI settings?
The keyboard input.
Under project settings input, there it does have a GUI stack for all the input actions, and it will update default input INI if you have it checked out or writable.
Ooh.
This is where I usually do it at.
Hmm.
What I really wish Unreal had better support for is when you set up controllers, if you could do like the fighting games and melee games that have like X and B at the same time to do an action. It's really bad about that. There's of course marketplace stuff that's like multi-input tracking.
Right.
But on that same token, it's like there's no default loading screen that has a reasonable, easy to use implementation.
Oh. You can just turn off crouch as a setting. Like,
What do you mean?
not well,
Oh, like in the pawn, like the movement component?
yeah.
No, I don't think I knew that.
It's called Can Ever Crouch. Have you seen Truth Seekers on Amazon Prime?
No, not yet. I still need to finish watching The Boys too.
Uh, did I tell you that I stopped watching that for a while because I was just like, I can't do too much of this type of man in power and just blindly believing what he's saying to himself right now.
Yeah. I'm only like 2 episodes in, so I haven't gotten to like the bulk of the corruption of characters in that show, but I'm sure it's a nail on the head
Wait, have you
satire.
watched the first season?
What?
Have you seen the first season?
Just the first 2 episodes of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Like it didn't immediately register to me as like a superhero political satire dark comedy. It took me a second.
Yeah, I think when I first saw the trailers for it, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, superhero movie." Oh, huh. All right, dark superhero movie. This should be great because I was thinking of it's called Brightburn, or do you know the horror film with Elizabeth? Uh, who's Miri from Zack and Miri? Elizabeth Banks.
Yes.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Banks and her is like a woman who adopted this kid, Have you seen Brightburn before?
I don't think so.
Okay. So they end up adopting this kid, uh, who, well, it's like a superhero horror thing. They adopt this kid who turns out to have powers, but he's just a kid and he's just doing kid shit. And he sees this girl that he likes, so he ends up, you know, trying to hang out. But of course, trying to hang out when you can fly and are shy just means floating outside the window in the dark. Um, anyway, he ends up going bad, and that's kind of what I was wondering how much along those lines it would get, and it definitely gets interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so far I was like, oh god. And then I was like, oh god, again.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, well, they're clearly upstanding individuals.
I don't remember what all happens in the first two episodes. Actually, does
The dude's talking.
Starlight get
Huh?
does Starlight get initiated?
Yes.
Does okay? Yeah, that was in the first episode.
The second one, I think.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh shit. Well, this is gonna and no holds barred on this one.
Nope. And then the very hilariously generically named like bounty hunter guy. I don't even remember whatever alliteration butcher. I'm like, wow, the writers really applied zero effort to this name choice. But it's like that on purpose, and it makes it kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, why does he need to know more? I mean, I feel like the people are named appropriately.
Yeah. Homelander's my favorite name at all. I'm like, God, could it be any more perfect?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that well, I wasn't surprised. I was slightly saddened for it to be like, oh, the Americans only superhero, like they're apparently only American superheroes. It's like, what? This is already how
Is
how
that a satirical choice in itself?
yeah. It's like, how is China and Russia not developed superheroes at this point? Because I guarantee. Well, never mind. Yeah. But it's one of those shows that make you dislike a particular character. I wonder uh, I would feel about Homelander and other uh, shows now.
Oh, like the same actor?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's in. He was in Without a Paddle and American Gothic and Banshee. Ah, okay. If he's in Banshee, then we'll see. I still have yet to watch that.
I have not seen that either. I'm still going back and forth between like The Office, Parks and Rec, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just finished one and then rewatched the other and then rewatched the next.
You just chain those back to back to back to keep your spirits in a high.
Yeah, just, keeps things light in the late evening. Nothing too serious.
Yeah. Just slip it on and hang out. Don't have to pay attention. It's not like you're gonna miss anything because you've seen it.
Yeah, and then you somehow still get invested in the storylines again. I'll tell you though, Parks and Rec was extra hilarious this year with election stuff.
Oh wait, still an ongoing series.
No, it's done, but it's just the jokes just hit differently.
Oh, okay.
It's weird how you can rewatch a show 5 or 6 times and different things are funny each time.
Yeah, I started rewatching Discovery. Actually, Star Trek Discovery. Did
Hmm.
you ever watch that?
I have not.
Um, well, after you watch it the first time, there's some spoilers, obviously, but then you rewatch it knowing the twist, and you see it telegraphed a little differently, and you understand. Like, sometimes shows will have these like snippets of, so like clearly there was a video of something happening, but someone's having a flashback and they're having amnesia or something, so they're catching like flickers of the video or event in their head. But then after you've watched it once before, you're like, oh, I see, it all makes sense now.
Yep. All the foreshadowing is like way more on the head when you've already seen it.
Did you change the top of the front of the gatehouse? Are there more shadows in the, like, scroll up, go up?
In game, it has the fire lights on, but they're not actually on in game until it's on fire.
I meant this upper part here, um, the white walls where the no, I didn't mean the lighting. I meant the I don't know. I just didn't realize how big those red timbers were and how far they stuck out from the white wall until I saw it at this angle.
No.
But there's a lot of shadows going on, more than I feel like I normally see. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention often in game because I'm being shot at or trying to shoot somebody.
Very possible. I really wish I had like a maple leaves little decal I could put leaves like down here. Maybe I have one.
You have one if you want one. Ugh. All right. Well, I'm yawning too much. It's midnight. I gotta get some sleep.
All right, dude.
I will push up something. I'm just running a build right now. Um, you actually don't need what I'm pushing up, but I cleaned up some stuff, and crouch will trigger the stab, the ground stab, if it stays in. Well, crap. So now 9 is not 9. So 0 stationary, 9 is down.
Okay.
Which it would be straightforward to add a jump attack specifically for in air. It would also be interesting to default to the ground stab when you are in the state falling.
I
Let's
agree.
do that.
It should definitely do that, and we should make jump ignore root motion always. So you could, in theory, jump, do the Fuji Hammer bash without moving, and like midair Fuji Hammer people.
Wait, say that one more time.
If we were to have, because we already have places, the override root motion section, we already have plenty of places in code where root motion is ignored. And I was saying, if it ignored all root motion in the air, if you were to try to do like a jumping Fuji hammer, you would just do the bash while falling in place, and that
Oh,
that
yeah,
may
would still
offer
work.
some interesting gameplay, and it would
Yeah.
look correct because it's really swimming should behave the same way. Ignore all root motion.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a ground stab. I was like, I don't know if swimming should give you a ground stab. So cases of where upper body should be used over full body includes is falling.
So do players need to rebind crouch?
I guess default I if their INI overrides default INI, then yeah.
Because I believe a brand new player would not have a bind for crouch, and I think crouch got take. I took it out of the keybind settings list. I'm not sure
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, I haven't pushed it up yet, so. You say swimming and falling should ignore root motion?
Yes.
Should climbing also ignore root motion?
Let me see what happens if I
Now,
do.
oh shit, what the fuck? So, I'm wearing a robe and it has a belt, and the belt touched me on my leg.
Like your brain was like, oh god, it's a spider of death.
Exactly.
Because any stray touching you didn't expect is a jumping spider of death.
Clearly, it's some type of murder creature.
For sure.
Strange touch is always bad touch.
Pretty much.
I forgot it's still streaming. Turn that off.
Bad things can happen when you forget you're streaming.
Oh yeah. I earlier today actually, I plugged in my microphone after I had started Zoom or Blue Jeans and didn't realize it. And my mic was on mute, but my software the mic was open and it hadn't switched to the Blue Yeti. So I sneezed and somebody said, "Bless you." And I was like, what the fuck? can you guys hear me right now? I didn't say what the fuck, but I was like, can you guys hear me right now? And they're like, yeah. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, won't make that mistake again. I don't know. There's just so many times where I'll look and notice that I'm unmuted, and I'm like, whew, man, that could have been bad. So these guys are being kind of annoying. So I like that naturally I tend to not talk to myself. Or do the thing where you're just like, damn, I just can't stand this under your breath.
Yeah. I know a guy that does that a lot, and that is me.
So are you gonna make those ropes something you can run on?
No, they don't have collision.
So are you gonna add collision to them?
Nope. Out of play space.
You don't want to put ninjas running across those? I mean, how amazing would that be? You know what? For some reason, I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that this is not the Yamai village. I thought this was Yamai village because I saw the ropes.
Yeah, I've been meaning to add these to this map, and I mean, it wouldn't be that difficult to do. I just need to put collision on the rope, and it needs enough segments to where when it you know, depending on how many Bezier points I add to it, it still is accurate. But I mean, it's certainly possible. Pretty minimum effort. It is cool to just have a rope you can deform with a spline, and then just have I just set up stuff, any amount of things to spawn.
So did you place each of those items on the rope, or do you say every X unit spawn one of these things?
Yeah, it has a spacing amount and then number of meshes that can be however many I want. And then it has a modulo value that I can change how it alternates, and then an initial distance offset from the edge.
All right, I'm gonna go brush my teeth, but I'm still here.
I really hate when it does that double click. Wait a minute. Something's not right. we go. Those are more reasonable.